If someone were to ask you what your favorite manga was, how would you reply? Whenever I'm asked this question, I always struggle a little bit. I just have so many manga, and I love them all. So, I decided to break it down a little bit by genre, and then talk about some of my favorite manga in each of these genres. And one genre that I particularly love is a toxic romance. I don't know why. Personally, in my romantic life, I would not want a toxic boyfriend, but I love it in manga form. I don't know why. Here we have Firefly Wedding. I purchased the first 5 volumes before I even started to read it, just because I knew by the premise alone I would love it. And I was right. I do love it. This is such a good series. Next up is Spring Storm and Monster. I have just about everything written by this author, by this mangaka. So I won't even read a description anymore. If it's by this author, it's safe to say that the boys are a little bit toxic and I will enjoy it. This one has been hard for me to find though. And then we have Stomp, Kick, Love. This one I love so much that when I lost a copy, I rebought it within seconds of realizing I lost it. This one is a little bit older in terms of both main characters are working adults, which is something that's a little bit hard to find for me for some reason, and I just love it so much. I bought volume 6 digitally because I couldn't find it physically for a while. And then we have Yakuza romance. Well, typically these Yakuza romance stories are toxic. I like Yakuza stories enough that I decided to give them their own space in this video. Here we have a girl and her guard dog. This one is incredibly problematic, I'm not gonna lie, but it is a guilty pleasure. There is even a drama that I haven't watched yet, but it is on my radar. And then we have Gokutsuma Days, or I think there is a digital English version called Boss Wife Days, but don't quote me on that. This series is another one where I just love the author so much, I'll snatch up anything they write. But because this one specifically is a little bit older, I've been having difficulties finding the physicals. And here we have Laise wa Tain ga ii, or Yakuza Fiancé. This one, admittedly, I originally found through TikTok, and it quickly became a favorite. I do have to say I never watched the anime, and I probably won't, but I do love this manga so much. I originally read it borrowed through the library in English, and now I'm slowly adding the Japanese to my collection. Next up is Yankee romance. Hikaeme ni itte mo kore wa ai, or love, that's an understatement, has been one of my favorites for such a long time, and I was originally very happy that Kodansha published an official English release, but then they kind of bungled it from what I've been hearing, so I don't know how to feel about that. Next we have Megane Tokidoki Yankee-kun, or Glasses with a Chance of Delinquent is I think the English. This is another one where I have been loving it for so long, so happy it finally got an English release, and from what I've been able to tell online, it has been treated a lot better. Here is Hana ni Kamiguse. I don't think there's an official English translation of this one yet, unfortunately, but it is such a favorite of mine. Technically, people say, or at least some people say, this is not a Yankee romance. However, to me, in my heart, it is, so I include it here. And then we have Amayakasanai de Meido-kun. Another one with no official English, unfortunately. Fingers crossed that it will get one, because it deserves a lot more recognition. And again, this one, technically, some people may say that the male lead is not a Yankee, but I disagree. The next genre is vampire romance. I'll love pretty much any vampire romance I can get my hands on. Here we have Rosenblood, which is complete at 5 volumes in both English and Japanese. This is a dark, gothic vampire romance. There's a lot of mystery, there's a lot of fashion. I really, really love this series so much. I haven't finished it yet because I'm enjoying it so much, I want to stretch it out. Here we have Oshi ni Amagami, or The Vampire Otaku's Love Bite. This is a completely different vibe from Rose and Blood. This one is a more lighthearted, kind of funny vampire romance, but I love it just the same. And then here is Hanahimeru Kimi no Meteor. This one again, totally different vibe. This one is also a mystery romance. However, the general feelings that you feel when you read it, even though it's mystery just like Rose and Blood, completely different. But I love them all the same. And then moving on, one of my all-time favorite genres, as you may have been able to guess, is horror. Here we have a cute horror, which is Toilet Bound Hanako-kun, I think is the English title. This one is spooky, but it's super cute. I love it so much. I originally collected it while I was living in Japan, had to get rid of it just because of luggage space, and now that I'm back in Canada, I'm recollecting it. Here we have Dragon Head, which is a love of mine. All of them are. But this particular manga is older than I am, and it has been very difficult to find the physicals for. I own all of the volumes digitally, but I want to add the physicals to my collection just so badly. Here is Brutal, same in English and Japanese. This one I think has an English translation, I think. I bought the first few volumes blind, fell in love with it. It kind of gives me Criminal Minds vibes in a way, and I loved Criminal Minds, and I have enjoyed the series so much. I haven't read all of it yet just because I'm trying to stretch out my enjoyment of it. The next manga was written by the author of a cult classic called Daichi Hikari Club. I don't think their other manga are all that well known, at least in the English manga sphere, just because I haven't really been hearing anybody talk about them. Hopefully they are, because I really did enjoy this manga. It is a psychological manga about a very strange high school teacher. The next manga is probably going to be in my top 5 manga of the year, calling it now. This manga is a rather twisted psychological horror. All of these right now are horror, and this was recommended by the author of Chainsaw Man, so Fujimoto. I really, really like it. It has BL vibes, but depending on who you ask, some people see it as BL, some people reject it as BL. I just enjoy the story. Here we have Karada Sagashi. This manga, I don't know why, but it doesn't have an official English publication. It does have a movie called Re/Member, but no manga. Why is that? I don't know. It deserves one. This is fantastic. I don't have all of the volumes yet, just because it's been difficult to find for some reason, but I really, really recommend it. And here is PTSD Radio. This one does have an official English publication, and I think only in omnibuses, unfortunately. Personally, I do not like omnibuses. Thankfully, the Japanese version doesn't have them. This is a anthology horror story. So it's filled with very short, different stories that are all along the same path. They're all intertwining with each other. And then speed round for some of my top favorite manga from various genres. If you were to ask me my favorite all-time right now, I would say it is Colette. I love it so much. If you were to ask me my favorite high school romance, it would be Hikaeme ni ite mo kore wa ai, or Love That's an Understatement. My favorite university romance is Okuremashite Seishun, no English yet, unfortunately. My favorite toxic adult romance is Stomp Kick Love. But my favorite Yakuza romance is Laisei wa Tanin ga ii. My favorite chill romance is The Ice Guy and the Cool Girl. My favorite BL is Fangs, but my favorite vampire is Hanahimeru Kimi no Meteor. My favorite horror out of all of them would be Dragon Head. Fingers crossed I can find the rest soon. But my favorite mystery would be Hikaru. Cannot wait for the anime. My favorite shonen would be Noragami. What would you say your favorite manga is?